Hey, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. Tonight we are playing the Marvel Multiverse RPG, where we have created our own Earth LOL. Mutants are the only people with superpowers. We're focusing specifically on X-Men, and we have a whole cast of brand new mutants here that, as far as I'm concerned, are now officially Marvel canon. Disney, come at me. Direct all lawsuits to Jeff. Aaron, who are you playing and what are your powers?
I am Jericho Wraith, codename Wraith, son of John Wraith the Kestrel and Silver Fox. He is a teleporter like his father. In his weakened state right now, he primarily uses the powers of Blink, a spatial sort of precognition, which is spider sense flavored to make sure he doesn't teleport into anything. And he's got the ability to freeze people spatially and also to rip parts of their molecular structure away using teleportation.
And we learned about your origin story last week. So if people are curious about that, go back to the YouTube channel and watch it. And while you're there, might as well click subscribe and click on that little bell so you get notifications. Right? Oh, Melissa, who are you playing? What are your powers?
So I am playing Ellen Humphreys, who goes by Bijou. She can get small and tiny. When she does that, she can also run really fast. And she's got some ranged weaponry of sorts.
How does your ranged weaponry work?
So she was gifted from her great aunt. She's got a bracelet and a necklace, and when they combine together, they shoot beams out.
Sorry, I'm going to ask you about that every time because I think it's cool. It makes me think of like Cyclops. It fits in with X-Men well. Anyways, Jeff, who are you playing? What are your powers?
I'm playing Marshall Gloss, a freshman in college, and AKA Stranglehold. He was a highly regarded high school wrestler until some of his powers manifested, and those being the ability to contort his body and sort of make his bones essentially rubbery. He also has a great deal of strength and he can fight with the best of them. The very refined martial arts skill of high school wrestling.
And last but certainly not least, but probably longest, Kipser, who are you playing? What are your powers? And what is your origin story? Under 5 minutes.
I'm very reasonable about. It's only one novel long. So yes, I am playing Luna Richter. Her mutant name is Ashfall, and she displays a mixture of her parents' power. Specifically, right now she's running primarily with geokinesis, a little bit of healing factor, and stability. Like Aaron's character, Jericho, Ashfall is a child created from a string of choices her parents made differently in this world. However, instead of simply the past, you also have to consider the past, the future, and alternate dimensions in true X-Men fashion. Richter and Shatterstar are her parents, and they're both mutants. They were working on a team as investigators in New York, a short distance in the past, and a quick cop across dimensions. During one of their cases, unfortunately, the team did end up opening portals to the Hell dimensions for a number of pantheons who then tore the sky bloody and the ground molten in an all-out hell war. During the skirmish, Shatterstar and Richter were hit by a beam that threw them to the future across to the Mojo World dimension, a dimension ruled by the spineless ones who created 24/7 reality television, not unlike the reality we live in now, and streaming for all their viewers for minor compensation, of course. Richter and Shatterstar survived. However, they could after a number of years, they convinced a member of the resistance called the Creator to help them create a child called Ashfall. Sensing the franchising possibilities, Mojo, the spineless one who rules Mojo World as a yellow, the bulbous, and top of a humanoid riding a mechanical contraption with tens of spider legs creature, immediately kidnaps Ashfall and raises her in the arena as the daughter of the greatest gladiator, Shatterstar. There, Ashfall was a prisoner for about 10 years until her parents rescued her. Then, for the next 2 years, they hid and fought together as parts of the resistance. Ashfall learned a lot about her powers from them during that time and enjoyed tales of the dimension that Richter was born to and Shatterstar learned to call home. Eventually, Mojo tracked them down, determined to recapture Ashfall, if not the whole family, to further sell any reality shows he could throw them into and collectibles that could be produced about them. They all realized they had to try to escape somewhere else, anywhere else. Shatterstar, exhausted and bruised, was able to create a rip and open a temporary dimensional portal. Richter then forced Ashfall through and made her promise not to try to return, which she's going to ignore. And so Ashfall fell from the sky into the ground of Xavier's Institute in Earth 101 at the tender age of 12. Angry and combative, Ashfall lashed out at anyone who got close to her until Danny Moonstar was able to calm her down. Danny helped guide Ashfall for the next 7 years, teaching her both compassion and about the world she now found herself in. Someday, she is determined to go back and save her parents from Mojo. But first, there's this terrible future thing that someone has thrown us into. Now,
I don't know who that would be.
I don't know either. During our time in these tunnels, however, and finding a quiet space while the team is more or less lost for several hours in this school, Ashfall turns to Bijou. Bijou, I wanted to talk to you. Well, the whole team a little bit, but because I think what we're going to have to be is a team to survive. So I want to clear some air. Earlier, when I was shocked and reacted badly towards you being okay with the sentinels in our blood, but I wanted to clarify. I don't care if you want to be normal. What I have a problem with is the acceptance of someone taking away your choice in the matter, and that you're all right with that. You may be passing, and you could probably hide in a neighborhood, but you should have value for your own rights, your personhood, to believe in yourself. The thing is, even if you have neighborhood friends and do the barbecue every weekend in summer, even if you allow your powers to be removed, if those neighborhood friends find out you have a different gene, there is a good chance that they'll turn on you for no reason. Have sentinels called on you, always treat you with suspicion, as if you're going, sorry, my dog, off, thank you, as if you're going to hurt them or something, infect their kids, a mutie lover. You shouldn't have to deal with that. No one should have to deal with that. Because we're some different gene that we can't even help. Your rights have to be taken away. Your choice has to be taken away. Look, we all have issues, and I know my perspective isn't the same, but that's also why you're important. You think differently. I didn't grow up on Earth, and all I got was this creepy yellow guy with mechanical spider legs who pay-per-view shows at my gladiator events. So I need that perspective. You are smart and capable.
Well, thank you for that. I hadn't quite thought about it that way, but I think you're right. And I mean, I don't agree with anything that any of these people here are doing. So thank you for that. So I like being able to see things from a different way.
Yeah. And Ashfall will stick her hand out to Bijou. Let's start again. My name is Ashfall, but my friends call me Luna Richter. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Luna. I am Ellen.
Nice to meet you, Ellen. And Ashfall will look to the rest of the team again.
As much as I tease you, that was a great story. I appreciate playing with passionate players. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Gonna drink tea for the next 5 minutes now.
Yeah, rest your throat. And now, previously on X-Men. The graduates are trapped in the year 2026. Our uncanny urchins have become dangerous dropouts in the eyes of the sketchy Stryker Institute. After assaulting the school nurse and vandalizing the school, the gifted graduates found themselves deep below the earth. Infected with sentinel nanobots and running out of time, they began wandering through the old X-Men tunnels, hoping to find an escape. But what they found instead was a swarm of alien brood. Outnumbered and outmaneuvered, the mutants fought for their lives. With only a makeshift torch for light, they worked together to exterminate the deadly monsters. Ashfall shifted the earth, providing cover and shielding her allies. Wraith popped in and out of the battle, striking and leaving before he could be hit in return. Stranglehold used every throw and takedown he learned back on the wrestling team. All the while, Bijou blasted away at the rocks above, crushing her foes with falling boulders. The graduates battered the bugs until they tapped out and the brood swarm fled back into the tunnels. And yet our heroes were still lost in the darkness with no plan, direction, or light, except for a burning sweatshirt. Hours and hours passed as they wandered through the hive, trying to work their way out to the surface. All the while, nano-sentinels continued to replicate in their bloodstream. With no end in sight, the heroes finally sighted the end, with a dim blue glow flashing ahead. After cutting class and cutting loose, our graduates have their work cut out for them. Will they prove to be a cut above? How will they remove their ankle monitors? Why is there always a light at the end of the tunnel? Will their speed drop below 20 miles per hour? Find out tonight, here on Adventures in Lollygagging. I had a lot of fun with those puns. I can't help it.
Oh, those were terrible. Good job.
You have been lost in the tunnels for almost a full day, and finally you see light. Unfortunately, it is not daylight, but the soft blue glow of a projector. You're tired, thirsty, hungry, and this is the first chance of escape since leaving the elevator shaft behind. Strangely, the sounds of a movie, along with young voices in a friendly argument, echo towards you. Come on, fam. You've seen that movie 100 times. Turn something else on. No cap. Navi are lit. Easily the best world building in any movie ever. Come on, the CGI's garbage. Let's watch something else. I keep asking you to grab the third one on Blu-ray. This is on you. Looking out of the tunnel, you see what appears to be an old X-Men server room. It's converted into some sort of underground clubhouse. There's a beat-up couch and a few recliners with stuffing falling out of the sides. You see some teenage mutants just hanging out watching a movie. The far wall is entirely covered by old X-Men tech, servers, control panels, screens, and what would be cutting edge to you is now covered in dust and has to have been unused for at least a decade now, maybe more. Past the couch, you see the movie that a few of your fellow students are watching. Images of a dragon-like creature soars across the sky with a blue cat person riding on its back. The CGI is some of the best you've ever seen, and you don't know what a Blu-ray is? Maybe it's something to do with the projector? What are you all doing?
Do we recognize these students either from our own timeline or from the couple weeks we've been here?
I think it's fair to say that at least one of them is instantly recognizable. You recognize Rockslide, who is a giant of a mutant. He's at least as tall as Colossus, and his body seems to be composed entirely of rock. And he is the one that is talking about the Na'vi right now, apparently obsessed with them. You see a handful of others. It's dark. The light is flickering in and out. There are no lights other than the projector right now. It's likely that the faces are familiar to you from the current timeline, the future, not from your timeline.
Hey, Rockslide.
What? Oh, you're the new kids.
Yeah, Jericho.
Yeah. Well, Niati Kamiye. Dude, come
Right
on.
back at you
Knock
there,
it off
man.
with the Na'vi shit. And then another kid
What movie is
stands
this?
up, turns on the lights, and you see a black-haired, pale-skinned person with an unwavering sense of confidence. He walks and talks as if he could do no wrong. This is Avatar. It's old as shit. Have we met before? I don't think we have. I'm Hellion. Rockslide, you know him. Over there with the blue hair, that's Surge. Over there in the burqa, that's Dust. Actually, it's called a niqab, but I appreciate that you're trying. And then over there, you see the feet, and he points towards one of the consoles where you see just a pair of legs sticking out from underneath. That's Prodigy under there. You can't get him to stop working. The person under the console pulls himself out, and you see he's an African-American teenager. He's wearing glasses. He's got a brown sweater vest and this yellow collared shirt with the sleeves very neatly rolled up. I'm Prodigy. Call me David. Come on, man. Code names only here in the clubhouse. I'm Hellion, and these are the Hellions. David speaks up there. You can't name us after yourself. That's just, it's too much.
Right. Okay, Hellion. I'm Wraith. This here's Ashfall, Bijou, and Stranglehold.
Hey.
David is the one who speaks here. You're the ones that caused the lockdown yesterday, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been searching all over for you. How'd you get out?
Us.
Oh, we made our way through the old tunnel system from what we remembered from our own time.
And if we're seeing you, I don't think we're out as much as we want to be.
Well,
no,
we're going
it's
to
not
have
too
to.
far. It's just a short hike to the surface. We come down here every weekend.
We still got to find a way to get these ankle monitors off and get these nano sentinels out of our blood. I still think in the school is the best place to find that information.
You know about the nano sentinels? Most students don't know about that.
And the Omega Red metal or whatever Wrath called it.
The carbanium.
Yeah, I don't know much about the ankle monitors. I'm sorry about that. I've been digging through old X-Men files, trying to figure out as much as I can. And they're pretty dated, though.
You know about the nanobots? All of you do?
Yeah, I got a microscope, and, when we had the bruises, I took a look. I can show you all. I still got the test slide.
Have you found a way to deactivate them?
No, that's a little bit more complicated. I've heard. Okay, so I sort of hacked into the Reverend Sinclair's email. Not really hacked in. That makes it sound much more, expert than it actually was. I have copies of his emails sent to my email. It was an easy program to write. I read something that he has sort of elixir that can counteract the nano sentinels, possibly even remove them entirely. It's supposed to be somewhere in the Institute. I'd assume from his office, but we can't get in there.
Why not?
They got a lot of security there. All sorts of biometrics and some sort of telepathic scanner as well. You can't just take their fingerprints and get in. There's something else to it.
Well, maybe we just teleport.
Burrow in from the floor.
There's options.
I mean, you're free to try that. I'm sure the purifiers would be down on you in minutes, but...
What about your powers? That dude still looks like a rock.
Yeah, that's basically his power. He's a rock. Hellion over there, he's a telekinetic. Surge, she has those big gauntlets on her arms, and you see that she's got these very high-tech gauntlets that go all the way up past her elbow. She gets static electricity built up, and she has to discharge it. Those gauntlets actually, she has to plug them in every night to discharge the electricity because she's not allowed to use her powers. She looks a little standoffish to you. She seems a bit more shy, but she just gives you a curt nod. Dust over there, she turns into dust. She turns into the sand whirlwind. It's pretty cool. You should see it. My power, I'm sort of a telepath. I don't really get to control it, but when I'm around people, I learn their skills. Like Jericho, when I'm close to you, I feel like I know a lot about killing people. And I don't know why. That's a little uncomfortable.
I spent years as a mercenary and working with the CIA. You get used to it.
Okay,
But back
I
to
feel like I could get you in a full Nelson if I needed to.
Well, yeah, Stranglehold's good. He's good. But back to Ashfall's question. I mean, our powers are degrading steadily. How long have you been here, and how far has your powers regressed?
Well, that's the thing. We've been here. I've been here 3 years. Hellian's been here a year. Rockslide, he's actually been here 4 years. He's been here longest out of all of us. It seems like the Sentinels work at different rates for different people, and sometimes that they can be sped up. I don't know enough about nanotechnology. No one in this institute knows anything about nanotechnology, so I can't really take their skills about that. I do know just from experience that a lot of times if you have outward changes of your mutation, like Santos over there, Rockslide, sorry, we're in the clubhouse, he's not going to look like a normal person again because of the nano sentinels. Any sort of physical mutation tends to stay.
Stranglehold is like being very quiet, kind of standoffish in the back, and at that is just kind of like reaching and like touching the side of his body as he's like thinking about Charlie based upon what he just heard.
Can we see the nanoparticles that you have on the slide?
Yeah, sure. And he takes you over to one of the X-Men work desks, and he's got a microscope set up along with a lot of other like files and even a laptop, which you haven't seen a student with a laptop before. And he sets up the microscope for you, and you can get a good look at them. I can give you the handout here. You see them, and they look sort of like fish-like or lobster-like. They have a long tail that comes out, and they've got claws in the front, and then their mouth kind of opens up, and it's got a syringe of sorts. And you can see that they are going around to all these living cells around them, and they're injecting it with some sort of virus or changing the DNA somehow. It looks like they're doing it to each cell manually, so it would take some time.
Yikes, that's not what I thought I was gonna see.
That's some weird aliens crap in us.
Wow.
Right. So clearly we got to find a way to get into this guy's office, this Reverend's office, and we need to figure out how to get these anklets off.
Okay, building weak points, windows, right? We can smash walls. What do you think, Wraith?
Well, probably if it's his office, it's probably reinforced against a lot of superpowers, but...
So, like, you guys sneak down here. Can you sneak us back up?
Yeah, we sneak down. There's actually a cave opening on the grounds. It's underneath the big old oak tree in the back. So we come in through the roots there. You can definitely get out that way for sure.
There's no like sentinels like looking there and everything, or
you got sentinels that are watching all the grounds. Yeah, that. Well, I can sort of help you with that. I haven't actually tested this. And he goes over and he pulls out a milk carton with a whole bunch of tech gear in it. And he pulls out a large satellite dish. It looks like Dish TV. And then there's cobbled together a mini PC connected to it. I think this works. This is, I call it a Sentinel jammer. I think what I built it to do is that it will send just a massive amount of signal to Sentinels in the nearby radius, like a DDoS attack, and it just overloads their circuitry. I think it'll jam them at least 2, maybe 5 minutes if you're lucky.
You said a lot of things there that I didn't understand, but I get the point. It's gonna
you hit the button and Sentinels freeze.
Got it. That's a cool device. It's real smart.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of saving it for ourselves, but
hey, you're welcome to join us.
Already have a plan? Escape plan?
No, we need to find the cure for the Sentinels. Otherwise, there's no point. And to be honest, there's not much of a point anyways. I've tried making contact with any sort of mutant outside the grounds, and it's impossible. The Sentinels, they track down every mutant. They've got scanners that check your DNA. So if you're out in public and you're a mutant, they're going to find you. And you'll be sent here or to a detention facility.
Better to die trying than to have your powers slowly sucked away in here, though.
So maybe
Just
there's
sucks.
somewhere in here that can put us back in time.
That's a good point, Bijou. I mean, they used some sort of temporal portals to get us here, so maybe we can reverse that.
Yeah,
Right, but that's not going to help them out here. Right?
That's true. That's true.
When are you guys from?
we're from the present.
Yeah.
We're all, we're all 16, 17. We were born after the Mutant Affairs Control Act.
But
I
if
mean,
we
you can
go
come with
back,
us if you want.
I suppose we don't really know much about the past either, except that it becomes a not good future. It really seems like a lose-lose.
Yeah, but if we go back, we can at least change what's happening here. So
I mean, it was a
doesn't
little
happen.
better then than it is now. I mean, they didn't walk around scanning your DNA for just walking on the street. I'm not going to say it was perfect, but I mean,
What year are
better
you
than now.
from?
And I tell him the year that we're from.
2006.
2006.
2006, yeah.
Which is when Blu-rays came out. So we might have actually heard the term Blu-ray.
It came out later in the year, not in the
Yeah,
spring.
but people were
looked it up.
talking about Blu-rays for a lot longer before it was
Oh, you
released.
think Marshall Gloss heard about Blu-ray?
Actually, Steven, I did my
Actually.
Actually.
This is a Marvel game. If we're not actually, then we're not playing.
I
it.
tune in to this game for its historical and scientific accuracy. Steven. Come on.
Yeah.
So I
I
have a
just
question about
broke the
this
verisimilitude.
like person in charge dude. So is this like other school where like you act up bad enough, you get sent to the principal's office kind of a thing? Like what are the ways into that inner sanctum?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a school. It's not like I'm scared for my life or anything. You toe the line, you're going to be fine. You get day passes for the weekend, and those will be taken away if you really get out of line. One thing Reverend Sinclair likes to have us do is writing lines. He'll have us write Hail Marys and Our Fathers. Service hours, we got to work in the cafeteria for, however long, that kind of stuff. If you're repeat offender, you get sent to talk with Mr. Risman, and he's the head of the Purifier Security. He's not a nice guy.
So, like, Jericho, you might know, like, I heard the word striker a bunch, but I never like associated it with like this sort of heavy religious like ideology stuff going on. What the hell happened? Like, what?
I mean, I don't know much, but I remember my parents telling stories about Stryker, and they had some interactions with him when they were part of Team X. But no, back then he was an op. He was an operative. He was a military guy.
Actually, we are going with the comic book canon here, where Stryker was not in the military. He was Reverend to begin with. It's an excellent graphic novel. It's I forget the name of it already. I knew it a second ago. But he is in the military in all of the movies, which arguably is more widely known than the comics. So you're not entirely wrong there. But we're going where he was a reverend the whole time.
So this is in line with that version of him that kind of
basically, yes.
Okay.
Where the multiple Marvel universes collide here. And I think it would be fair to say that some of you would have heard of him just from like TV and news, especially when the Mutant Affairs Control Act was being talked about and passing while you were graduating. He was one of the advocates for the act to pass. So he was very popular on certain news channels that might be deemed more conservative than others.
Okay. So
are mutants treated the same in other countries? Could we just like, Jericho, you got family in
God loves
Canada?
man kills. That's the name of it. God loves man kills. Sorry. Sorry, go ahead, Ashfall.
But I will point out that before he became a reverend, he was a sergeant in the United States Army
That is
and
true.
part of the
That is
Weapon X
true.
program.
Was he part of Weapon X? Is that canon?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
May
wow.
have been
Okay.
involved in the Weapon X program.
Aaron, could you do me a favor really quick? Just take your finger and just
Yeah,
push
yeah,
your
just
glasses
push
up
your
just a little
glasses
bit
up.
further. Excellent. Your
This is a lot of fun
face.
one-upping
Your
each other
face.
like this.
Oh.
I'll get the last one eventually.
No, not against me and Aaron, you won't.
Marvel LOL.
I have faith in you, Stephen. You'll crush us eventually.
Yeah. What about other countries? Like, what about when you graduate? What happens to you? Can you just go somewhere else? Be treated better?
Yeah, so dropouts are actually more envied than graduates. Dropouts, those are the ones, we call them dropouts. They're the ones who lose their powers from the nano sentinels, and they're considered no longer mutants. They're no longer legally required to stay enrolled. There's a couple of them every year. Some are happy about it, some not, but at least you're out of here. Graduates, on the other hand, you graduate when you don't lose your powers, but you're considered to have control over them. And no one really knows for sure what happens to graduates, but we tend not to hear back from them. I have a theory, but I can't prove it.
They kill him?
Or military, special ops, all sorts of bullshit.
What's your theory?
So you guys have been in the tunnels. I don't know how much you know about them. They were created.
There's a bunch of weak bugs back there. We killed a bunch of them, though.
You killed a bunch of them. Yeah. They're called the Brood. I've got a Brood repulsor over there, and he points, and it's basically like a giant bug light, and it just kind of hums.
Oh, that would have been so helpful.
Well,
yeah, it just pumps out a frequency that they don't like. It drives them all away.
They weren't that tough. I didn't think they were that big a deal.
Well, that's good. I mean, they can still kill people. So, I'd rather not.
Really?
Yeah. So the old X-Men files talk about the Brood a little bit. They're apparently aliens. But the strange thing is the Brood here are actually infected with nano sentinels as well. And you seem to know a little bit about the Brood, but the thing the X-Men files say is that the Brood actually take other people as their hosts and turn them into Brood. And that's how they reproduce, basically.
You're saying they're the graduates?
I don't know. But
is that your theory?
Why else would they have nano
figure it
sentinels?
out?
I think so.
Wow.
I mean,
wait. The weird stuff happened with the colors on our ankle things, and then they started moving around. It did seem like they were kind of reacting a bit,
Your ankle bracelets are blue. I've never seen that before.
We just assumed that it meant that they were out to get us, and that's why they were blue, because they're looking for us.
I'm sure it is. They've got sentinels combing the area. They've upped the arm purifiers. You know how we got purifiers patrolling all the time? Now they have the armored purifiers. I don't know if you've seen them before. They've got like basically sentinel armor and like jetpacks and everything. They got a few of those out. They don't normally stay around here.
But they can't be
Kinda
that
just,
good.
like waking up.
Well, I was just going to say they can't be that good at it because you guys snuck out just fine and they didn't catch you. And honestly, that's pretty like ballsy to do with all of them.
It's getting to be 6 a.m., so it's about time for us to go up. We stay here during the night, but we're still in the grounds. So our bracelets don't show us as leaving the school or anything.
When you leave and go on one of those day passes, does your bracelet thing change like different color then?
No, I've never seen it do it.
Huh. He's thinking really hard.
Okay, so it sounds like we need to break into Douchebag Mickey Reverend's office.
I don't know the cure's there. I don't know where else it would be.
It wasn't in
And
the
he's got pretty high
information.
security.
Right?
If
I
it's
would
not
assume
in
so.
Reverend Sinclair's office, then maybe we can find a clue as to where it is, or
He's
maybe we can
headmaster.
find
He
a
would know
way.
everything.
Maybe find a way to deactivate these, anklet
If he-
bracelets as well.
Prodigy, if he knows everything, what if we get you close to him?
I have been close to him. He teaches American ethics all the time. It's the most boring class. But I don't get like his thoughts. I just get his skills and like things he's been trained in. It's more like muscle memory of sorts.
So what's
I
the
learn a lot of
security?
sermons when I'm around him.
So you said it's like telepathy security?
I assume so. I don't know for sure. I haven't gotten to have a good look at it. It's on the second floor and it's the main hallway. And there are cameras facing it. You can't just go up and tinker with it. There's something that
Can
you
you
know,
draw
it's got the
some
hand
maps?
key where you do the biometrics. It's got an eye scanner, and there's something else too that just I don't know. You have to have a pass to get through there. There was a shapeshifter a couple years ago that tried to get in, and they got caught. They had a talk with Mr. Risman. It wasn't pretty.
Oh. You said you have to have a pass to get in? Who
Like,
else has it?
Not a pass, but you have to be on their list, like their biometrics. You have to be approved.
Oh. Okay.
Who's responsible for uploading the biometric data at the school?
I would assume it's Reverend Sinclair. I would think you do it inside the office. I know Reverend Sinclair can get in. I know Mr. Risman can get in. I've seen Reverend Stryker go in. He's not here all the time. He comes about once a week. He'll actually be here in a couple days. Those are the only three I know of that can get in at will.
Guess we need to
This is
kidnap one of them.
The weakest out of them.
Did you ask who's the weakest?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying someone is the
Jericho
weakest.
mentioned kidnapping. I think we were on the same wavelength.
Mr. Risman is a tough guy. Reverend Stryker doesn't go anywhere without a bodyguard. Reverend Sinclair, he seems like a pushover, but he's got an angry side to him. And I think he's got some sort of alarm that he can press. If he's ever in trouble, purifiers are there in seconds, literally seconds.
That's kind of curious that they can move so quickly. So does this Risman guy ever have like people on him or reinforcements or anything like that?
He's the head of security, so I would assume he can call reinforcements, but he doesn't normally walk around with a bodyguard or anything.
He's
like
probably like pretty arrogant then. He probably thinks he's super tough and he probably thinks he doesn't need it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that kind of guy.
Arrogant's a good way to describe him.
When was the last time he was in a real fight with people from the before time?
Yeah. Is there like ever a time he maybe goes off by himself somewhere, you know?
Give me a let's say this is a logic test.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You know what? Anyone can give me this logic test too.
Why didn't
And it's
any of
going to
us
be
in particular
challenging.
get
12.
I'll still do it because that is a actual 12. A 6, a 5, a 2, -1, 12 on the dot.
Look at you go. So you've spent 3 weeks in the school, and it's not enough to know everything about the school, but you also knew the school fairly well. You lived in it for years before this time. And what you can remember is that Mr. Risman has a very strict schedule. Down to the minute, he's always moving from point to point to point in a very predictable pattern. And I think with success there, it's safe to say that you've learned a couple of those places where you can reliably find him.
A guy with the schedule that strict, like, should be easy to build a plan around to grab him, you know?
Yeah, and Reverend Sinclair has a schedule too. He's always teaching classes at the same time.
Aren't his classes like 4 hours long?
American Ethics, it's the longest class. It's 3 hours.
Yeah.
3 times a week.
I don't want to go into the classroom. Nah.
Yeah, but if he didn't
thanks.
show up, people wouldn't look for him for like 3 hours.
Except the students. Some of the
Would
students
they?
like Reverend Sinclair. There's one kid, especially Vic Burkowski. He's a bit of a suck up.
Who?
Kid, we met him. He's just too young. Somebody needs to like
We met him.
educate him a bit different.
The one who was walking us to class on the very
Yeah.
first day.
Well, we can't. We got to be focused on fixing ourselves and getting back, and then making sure this future doesn't happen. So,
Okay.
I think you're right. I think maybe Risman might be the way to go.
I think so.
So have you guys figured out like how to break into like the security or see all the cameras or any of that kind of stuff?
The security office is Mr. Risman goes through the same security door as Reverend Sinclair. So I believe that's where the security office is. So I haven't been able to mess with anything. I do have a feed to a lot of communications that come in here. And that's how I get Reverend Sinclair's personal email. I can't get his private email, like the really encrypted one. So I can like see when like phone calls are coming in and things like that.
Cool. Hey,
Have you read anything recently that would indicate they're going to be changing their schedule, or that anything mentioning the 4 of us?
It's pretty recent with you all, and most of that would go through the encrypted channels. It's visible to see that they've made changes, and I think they might be gearing up for a sweep of the tunnels through that elevator shaft you all broke through. I don't think they'll find this place. They'd have to really be methodical searching to find it.
Do you know when they're
they
going to
will be
start the
changing-
sweep?
They would start it from the elevators where you all went.
I mean, when? Like, did like they say I have a muster time when they're going to start their sweep?
I don't know. I just know that there have been a lot of purifiers showing up lately, and that's my guess.
Because if more of their forces are drawn down into the tunnels, they may be more lightly guarding areas of the school.
But like I said, Reverend Stryker is actually going to be here in 3 days. So that could also be why they're beefing up security. I don't think they would want 4 mutants running around with unknown locations. So I think they're going to try and find you all first.
Great. We don't
Makes
want to
them
be
look
here
bad.
in 3 days.
No, we don't.
So I suppose the plan is to get up there, get Risman, get through the security doors, see if we can't drop these anklets, find a cure, and get home.
Sounds easy.
Bijou wants to turn to dust. Say dust. Did I get that right?
Oh, you did. So Dust, you turn to her and she's wearing a black niqab that covers her entire body except for her almond-shaped eyes. Yes, my name's Dust. You can call me Suraya if you wish. Not in the
Okay.
clubhouse, you hear Hellion yell out.
Hi, Soraya. I'm Ellen.
Pleasure.
So when you're in dust form, can you like see things? Can you watch things?
Yes, it's a strange sensation. It's not sight the way I see now. I don't see colors. It's more like I can feel the patterns of the wind and how they shape around things. That I can show you a little bit. And she lifts up her arm, and it just begins to like dissolve into a pile of dust in front of you, and it becomes like a whirlwind around her. And you can see that she kind of controls it, and it goes in like arcs in the air before it comes back to her arm and reforms.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
You said there was someone here named Surge, right? She was the one who has the arms. Like
Yes.
that. So I'm gonna picture her as Ali Sheedy from Breakfast Club. And
Yeah, she's East Asian. She's got bright blue hair.
Japanese.
I'm just like the big, like crazy hair and like, you know, kind of the quiet type. And so Stranglehold's gonna say, hey, you can do stuff with like electricity, right?
I used to be able to do a lot more until they put me in these. They might as well be handcuffs. I can use static to run extremely fast. I can shock people. I can short out electronics.
Right.
Only with the gauntlets off anymore.
Well, I was gonna ask that. Like, can you like short thing like cameras or like, you know, power so that might give
if
us
I'm
cover?
able to touch something, I can short it out.
Biometric scanners.
Right, exactly. You ever tried to like shut the power funneling into those security rooms?
Prodigy jumps in there. You might be able to short it out, but I'm sure there's a failsafe that it would automatically lock without power. I could try though if you wish.
All right. I mean, if there's a failsafe and it locks, that means it's just like a mechanical lock, right? It's like a physical thing. I mean, physical things, if not were.
She kind of looks at Rockslide.
Like,
maybe.
I mean, that's just muscle, right? Like you can muscle like that, something like that open, right?
Depends on how strong the door is.
And how strong the person is trying to muscle it open, right?
Yeah. And if you're lucky, they might be dumb as a box of rocks.
Huh?
Santos yells out, I heard that.
How about the sentinels in the blood? Have you ever tried shorting them out?
I have the static running through me, so I don't think I can short them out. I doubt they run off electricity the same way as most electronics.
Tech. This is as bad as Mojo.
I'm happy to help you however we can. I would want to make sure there's a plan. I don't want to be caught holding the bag.
That's fair.
Well, I guess plan A is like get Risman and see if we can use him to get inside. But you know how tough these guys are. He might not go easily, or he might do something. And then we have a plan B to like short circuit the stuff and see if we can just like bash our way in. Does that make sense? Well, he's not sure. He's looking to other people to see if it is.
Telekinesis boy, how heavy or detailed can you actually pick things up with?
Do or do not. There is no try. I can get anything.
Yeah, huh? So your finite control, you'd be able to like pick someone's pocket without them feeling from a distance?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
do it to Wraith right now. Pick something from his pocket.
Well, I mean, like, I don't like to show people like,
Wraith, what you got in your pockets right now that he can try picking from you?
I mean, not much. They didn't leave us much, but I'm sure there's something in there, handkerchief or. But I mean, what do you want him to steal?
Well, their ability to call purifiers to them really quickly. A bunch of them do. So we want to be able to snatch any devices that they produce out of their hands if they're going to call somebody. Reaction.
What is your vigilance defense, Wraith?
My vigilance defense is 12.
Hellion, reaches his hand up and he's got two fingers that are pointed at your pocket. And you can tell it's a bit of a struggle for him, but you do feel a tug on the handkerchief and it just slowly begins to pull out bit by bit. Those of you looking at Hellion, you can see a bit of sweat starting to come down, but eventually the handkerchief does come out. And then after it's free, it flies right towards his hand and he catches it. Yeah, see, I told you I could do it.
Okay, so he can be backup plan for pulling anything out of someone's hands if it's an alarm button.
Well,
He's really good
Soraya
at ordering
can-
Chipotle.
Like if Soraya's
Yeah.
dust, she can like kind of get in any like crack and crevice and then like reform on the other side, and I can get tiny.
It also looks at Santos, it looks at Rockslide. Maybe have a distraction team.
Oh, I'm a good distraction. Mr. Risman and I, we know each other pretty well.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'd probably be in the same detentions as you most of the time if we stuck here.
What do you want me to do? You just want me to go up and bash him?
I mean, could do. I think we need a better formed plan before we decide to just do that, but it's not a bad one.
We can get him in like a hallway or a room, like by himself, right? And if there's cameras, we can get Surge to like short circuit them or something. And then we can take him out in there, you know?
That works.
Yep,
'Cause
we know his
that's-
schedule, so let's hit him where it's most advantageous for us.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. So you have a plan. I'm going to rule it that you guys can use each of these Hellions for one task each. So if you want to assign them for something to help you in your breakout, they'll be able to help you one time for whatever task you'd like. So what's your plan then?
We go up there, we determine where Sinclair is going to be.
How do you want to get up there? Do you want to go through the
or
grounds?
that
Do you
is
wanna try and-
Risman.
Risman. Yeah.
Risman.
Yeah, Risman.
What I mean, I think we go up based upon
Yeah.
the way that they go up.
Yeah, we've got the Sentinel Jammer, so we activate the
Mhm.
Sentinel Jammer. We go up with them. We sneak back into the school. We isolate Risman.
They told you that it's about 6 a.m. right now, so it's going to be light very, very soon. Would you guys like to go during the day, or would you like to wait until night?
I think we want to go during the
Gonna-
day.
Oh, day.
Well, because you've got students throughout the
Sooner.
school. We've got
That'll
cover and
make them be more
camouflage.
careful in how
Yeah.
they respond.
At night, we'll stand out because we'll be the only ones moving in the school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if we wait
Fair.
longer, more purifiers could show.
All right, so you guys are going out relatively soon then, and you're going to try and find Risman. Right now, it's early morning. You know that he would be getting up and he calls it a patrol. He actually goes out to exercise every morning and he runs the perimeter of the school. So you would be able to either lay an ambush or follow him wherever he's going.
Ambush sounds good to me.
Ambush.
All
As
right.
long as we can keep the sentinels shut, we can ambush him on his run.
Yeah.
Works.
Let's call this-
Biometrics, we just need what? His eyeball in his hand?
Wow.
We don't know. There's something
Well,
else.
there's
We're not
that-
sure yet.
Telepathy thing too. So
Better keep his head then.
There's
Yeah.
also the option we could, instead of ambushing him, have Bijou shrink as small as she can shrink and have her jump on him. And then when he goes through the security door, she's on the other side, depending on what the bioscanners pick up.
Might be a good, yeah, that's true. It might be a good first step.
I could do that. And Soraya, maybe you could. Can you stay in dust long enough just to get in his eyes or something? So maybe he doesn't notice when I jump in his pocket. And then can you just continue to move away like a dust storm, or would you get caught?
I can turn into a dust storm, but I feel that it would be slightly suspicious to happen in the middle of a hallway.
No, we're
Oh, I
talking
thought
about
he
he's
was
out
out
on
for
his
his
run.
run.
I suppose so. Mr.
We live in the
Risman's
desert.
not.
Seeing things like that randomly is
Well,
so weird.
He's a bit suspicious, but I could try my best to make it seem natural.
But the other thing is, like, if he's out on a run, he's probably going to go and like shower afterwards or something. He's not going to like just go right from his run into his security building, right? So we might not even have to confront him out there. We just
True.
time
Good
his
point.
run, and we get Bijou to wait in like the locker room, and then she pops into his uniform or whatever.
Good
Ooh.
plan.
That works. I like that.
I played a
Right.
lot of Risk in college. Good at strategy.
All right. So is that the plan we're going with then?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I want a vigilance test from whoever would feel best at this. You can take an edge for everyone helping. And this is going to be determining the best way to sneak throughout the grounds without being detected. Prodigy would also tell you about the jammer. It works for 2 minutes at least, maximum of 5 minutes. And it's going to set off some alarms in the sentinels. When it happens, they're going to know that they're being attacked. So it's a last resort. You want to use it if things go bad.
More for the escape time.
I have an edge on vigilance checks already, so I'd have a double edge if you guys want me to try it.
I think you're the best person on
Yeah.
vigilance.
Go
For
for
sure.
it. And a lot of the grounds is like open grass, but it's still early morning, so there's not going to be as many people out. There's not going to be as many people looking. And you are mutants. So there's a chance that people will just assume that you're normal students walking around.
15 in total
15.
after my rerolls.
That is ridiculous. So that is a success.
Good.
The Hellions would also help you out with telling you like the way that they sneak back. They're not too concerned about it because they've done this several times. But with more purifiers, it is more difficult as well. But we can say that you all go together following a very specific route. You go from tree to tree into the bushes alongside the side of the school. And then you enter through one of the back doors, and they start making their way to the dorms. Did you want to try and like have a plan ahead of time? We can say that you already made the plan and that they know where they're supposed to be at a certain time. We can sort of blades in the dark it if you guys are good with that.
Yep.
That works, yeah.
Good.
And then the four of you, do you want to all head together to the locker rooms?
Into some lockers.
Probably just me. Like I'm the only one that really needs to just get tiny and get in there.
Yeah, I think Jericho would want to try to find a way to get near the security doors leading into the office areas and the security suite. Just in the event that the bioscanners pick up Bijou, that we can react, that we're there to react with Plan B immediately.
I worry she's going to get discovered in the locker room, so I will cover that side if you get the biometric side.
I popped up a map of Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. This is how you remember the building to be, and you have some familiarity with the changes here, but not entirely. And you know that Reverend Sinclair's office and Mr. Risman's office are in the center of the second floor where it says Xavier's Chambers used to be. So you see that main hallway with the stairs that go down. The elevator shaft there is entirely sealed up, and the door to get in is also in that main hallway. So it's a very visible location, but there's plenty of wings and nooks and crannies that you can try to hide in as well. The only cameras inside the school are in this main area. So both upstairs and downstairs is where they have the cameras. They don't have cameras in the dorms, the hallways for the dorms, in the library, anything like that. So
And you
let's
said
go
the
ahead.
that elevator is sealed up, right? What's the security door? Is it on the? Is it where the elevator used to be, or is
Basically,
it?
yeah. It's
Okay.
pretty close to that center area.
Okay, cool.
Let's start with the three of you trying, or Jericho at least is trying to sneak in. Ashfall, Marshall, Stranglehold, are you trying to go the same way to get up there to be ready?
I think if we're up there, how busy is the yard between the trees and the actual school itself? Like how?
Currently not that busy. It will get busier and busier as the day goes. This is a Saturday, so
Right.
a lot of kids will be spending time out there, and then the purifiers, like you've been told, they're going to be patrolling more often.
Stranglehold is going to get the location of one of the guys' rooms, and he's going to try to go up to the dormitories and sort of slip in to one of the men's dorms and like wherever, like, you know, rock slide or dust or whoever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Project.
They're going to their dorms anyways. We can say that they open up a window, so you don't even need to make a check for it. You can just stretch your way up and slide on in.
Yeah. I mean, Wraith can come that way too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wraith, you teleport up.
Yep.
Ashfall, are you going to climb up a stretchy stranglehold?
I'm going to, because Bijou was going to the locker room where the dude changes from his run, right? Still?
Correct. As far as I know.
Yep.
Ashfall is just going to like go there a bit early as well and shove herself in a locker to hide. And then just in case Bijou gets detected early, then she'll try to like rejoin the others.
All right. So Jericho, Stranglehold, you're doing something very easy. I'm not going to require a check for it. You're going to be able to get into that room as soon as Hellion and Rockslide, they share a dorm. As soon as they get in, they're able to let you in. There is a third student in there as well. He kind of looks like a hedgehog of sorts. They call him Quill. His name is Maxwell Jordan. He's in your handouts as well. He's sleeping right now, and they said, don't worry, he's cool. Ashfall and Bijou, let's go ahead and get some stealth checks from you. Let's call them agility here. And Bijou, if you're shrinking while you do this, I will give you an edge.
Can I grab an audience edge for this one there, Melissa?
Yep, got it.
Great, thank you. All right, agility.
Oh my gosh.
So I've got
Going to be difficult
13.
right now because it's a 12. Later on, it'll be more difficult. It'll get up to 14.
13 for me on this one.
Sorry. Edge means I can reroll one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I rolled all ones, and I initially
crap.
forgot that a 1 is good on the Marvel die. So that's cool.
Yeah, so on the Marvel, that's a 6.
yeah.
So you're almost there.
On the other two, I need to do a little bit better. Okay, so that's a 6, 11, 12, 13, 14.
All right, so that's a fantastic success for you.
Yeah.
Ashfall, you got a success as well.
Yes, I forgot to use the reroll, so I actually rolled an 18 after the reroll.
Nice. Bijou, how would you like your fantastic success to help you in this? What type of like story change would you like to happen here? As you are sneaking through the grounds, you're able to make it to the locker room. Anything along the way could help you in the future, or something in the locker room could help you here.
Lockers.
By the time you get there, we can say that Risman is just about to enter the locker room. He's going to the shower. You know that you've got 10, 15 minutes or so.
So the first thing that comes to mind, and this may not be worth it, and I can try to think of something better, but trying to figure out like where exactly I could hide that would be the least noticeable? Because I kind of feel like kind of in your pants pocket, if you're putting your pants on, you'd probably notice that there was something there. So I'm kind of trying to strategically kind of figure out like where I could be. I don't know if he always wears like a jacket or something that like I'm basically what I'm trying to do with that is like finding the least detectable place to be in my tiny form.
Yeah, so Mr. Risman wears something similar to the regular purifier garb, which is like a robe with a white cross emblazoned on it. But his is a little bit more upgraded. He's got what look to be filters on the collar here and like a hood that could be pulled up and over. He also has a belt with several pouches and a holster for a gun. And he also carries the regular purifier rifle. It's not really a rifle. It's more like a stun gun in the shape of a rifle, which Stranglehold, you were using one to use as a torch before. So he's got a little bit extra compared to most of the purifiers. And I think it's safe to say that you could unload one of the belt pouches and take some gear out of there, and he wouldn't notice the difference in weight with the whole belt. There'd be plenty of space for you to be protected and unseen because you're in a pouch, and you can leave it just barely unclipped so you can get in and out easily. How's that sound?
That works. Thank you.
Bijou, you get into position. Ashfall, you're cramming yourself into a locker, you said, right? It's a tight fit, but these are full-size lockers, so let's go with it.
Excellent.
And with that fantastic success, Bijou, I'm going to say that you don't need to roll for the stealth here for Mr. Risman. He comes out of the shower a few minutes later. You have the extra gear that you pulled out. Say it was some sort of battery pack, like a recharge for his rifle. You pulled it out, and Ashfall hid it in a different locker, so he's not even going to see it. And he gets dressed. He puts on the robes. He puts the belt on. Ashfall's covering her eyes because this is PG-13. And you are now in the pocket of Mr. Risman, who you know his schedule. You know that he will be going to the office soon, but he does have a few more stops to take in the meantime. So you're going to be along for a little bit of a ride. And you start following along, watching, waiting. Ashfall is soon out of sight. Ashfall, what are you doing after he leaves?
All right, time to try to get to the dorms with everybody else. Hopefully there will be an extendo arm that can come down and give me a hand. Literally.
All right. You already got a success. You said you got an 18, right? So we'll roll that over. You start stealthing around back outside. At this point, it is much lighter. With that 18, you would still pass. You would have needed a 14 otherwise. It's much easier to be seen, so you have to be much slower, more methodical. Eventually, you get underneath the window and you start throwing some rocks up there. Stranglehold, is it safe to say?
Like a snake just slithering up over the sill, and down his hand comes.
Rapunzel, let down your extendo arm.
Ow. Stop, those rocks are sharp.
Oh, sorry.
Marshall, is it your arm or Charlie's?
That's even a bit right. No, he doesn't bring Charlie out, and only in friendly company. And he doesn't know these people yet. So no, it's his arm.
All right. So this extendo arm comes out Mr. Fantastic style. You almost don't want to touch it, but you have to. And then it starts pulling you back up. You have to climb with it a bit.
What's wrong? It's nothing wrong with my arm. There's nothing wrong. It's
no, there's nothing
fine.
Wrong.
It's clean.
It's clean.
He washed his hands. It's all good.
He's a gentleman.
How long would it take to wash your hands when they're like 18 feet long?
I retract them and get them nice and small when I clean them.
Do you make your hands even smaller when you're washing them? Like the little baby hands? Sorry, I'm going on a big tangent here. It's comic books. You have to wonder about these things.
Sure. Right?
Bijou, you are following along with Matthew Risman, and the first thing he does is check on other purifier patrols. He talks with them, makes sure that they have shown up for their shifts, make sure that the changeover went okay, goes over any sort of incident reports from the night before. You do hear that there was an incident report of purifiers that went down in the elevator shaft after you. They did not get very far in. However, they did find dead brood. So they are aware that something happened there relatively recently. They came back out. They didn't continue exploring those tunnels without more support, without better equipment and able to keep directions. But you learn a little bit more that they are planning on going back there again to investigate further. They have not given up on finding you all. These walks between the patrols continues for 20, 30 minutes or so. And then it's about time for him to start heading to his office. You have the perfect position for this. You're not going to be seen on cameras. You're not going to have anyone else watching by. The only question now is, will that security biometrics pick up a second person in the scanner?
I'm hoping that because that's what I should have asked for. That I would get picked up by the scanner. Damn. I was hoping that maybe because I'm inside something that's like metal or something, that it might like block that a little bit, that I'm not just like in cloth.
Could we have Surge fritz the electricity a little bit as she's going through, and then maybe he just sees it as a glitch in the system?
If that's how you want to use her use, absolutely, you can do that.
Yeah,
I think that might be the best way, because then if he just mechanically lets himself into the room, if she can do it from a distance while unobserved.
So you explain what you need from Surge. She seems a little hesitant, but she starts thinking about it, and she thinks, yeah, maybe I can do that. She has to work with Prodigy to actually loosen the gauntlet. Apparently, these gauntlets are locked on her. Prodigy has developed a tool that he can take them off, but she's not supposed to have them off because her power is so uncontrolled. But he's created a facsimile of the tool that allows her to take them off. And he loosens it up so that she can pull it off as she needs. And I said you can use them once. So just as the timing is right, Mr. Risman goes up, he puts his hand on a scanner. It's got the Mission Impossible eye scanner. And then there's another beat where he just has to wait a moment. And just as that happens, Noriko, Surge, walks by, and she just ever so quickly takes her hand out of the gauntlet, and she shocks the ground underneath. And if you all are watching, you can see little ripples of blue electricity that go across the floor and then up the wall, and they shock that little scanner ever so quite quickly that it would not be noticeable unless you knew it was happening. She quickly puts her gauntlet back on. The lights flicker around you. The scanner flickers as well. And then the biometric hand turns green and the door begins to open. You see that this is sort of a vault door. It's not as like thick as a bank vault door would be, but it does have like the metal dowels, the rods that come out and they lock into the wall. So if it was locked, it would be very difficult to get in and out of. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it'd be very hard.
Can Jericho see in when that door is opening? Can he see into the interior of this space from where he's at?
I'm going to say if you want to stay hidden from Risman, it would be very difficult to see in because that would be like a 90-degree angle. We could do a vigil or agility if you want to say that you stealth closer.
Yep, I'm going to give it a shot.
If you fail, though,
can we have
he's going to see
Santos help Wraith with this by using him as a distraction in this moment to draw eyes so that Jericho has a better chance?
Is that how you guys want to use him?
Using him then?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, my agility is pretty good, so.
Okay.
Aaron's like, let me roll.
Yeah, if you don't want it,
go ahead.
This is going to be a 14 here.
We're fucking fine. I got a 6 on the Marvel die, and not a 1, but actual 6, and another 6, a 12, and a 2 is 14, and my agility is +4, so that's 18.
Describe the sound again it makes when you teleport.
It's kind of
that
a
little,
whoosh, just a little. It's almost a silent little, almost like a little sucking sound, like a. So it goes like.
as the air like rushes in to replace the space where you were. And Bijou, you've been around it enough that you know that sound. Mr. Risman doesn't even break stride as it happens, and he begins walking into the office, and Jericho, you are now directly behind him, and you can see inside the office now as well. You can see that there's, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There is a sort of like common lobby area, and then you see that there are 2 side doors as well, and you can't see around the left corner, but you're pretty sure that there would be another door mirroring the one on the right.
And he just disappears again and reappears back in the room with a stranglehold, and Ashfall lets them know what he's seen. But now that he's seen in, he can teleport in there.
And you would also know that just by teleporting there, you have been on camera, but that doesn't necessarily mean the cameras are being watched or that they know of your presence or anything like that.
Right. But we may be on the clock. But we're on the clock anyway, really. So
Sure.
Bijou, you are being carried in. You can see just through a slight crevice in this leather holster that you were in. You see him head towards a door on the right. The security door behind you closes, and he actually does wait to make sure it closes. He's very methodical about this. You can tell that he's got a procedure that he follows. And then he goes towards the next door, which is completely wide open, and you see just an office, a very standard looking office, not very well decorated. You don't see many personal effects or anything like that. There's not even a fake plant in the corner or anything. There's a few file cabinets behind and a desk, and he sits down and he begins working. Interesting thing about these offices is that you see computers here as well at his desk. You didn't see one in the lobby. You haven't seen any other computers inside the school. Like I said, when Prodigy had one, it was very rare. It seems that they want to keep mutant access to computers very strict. So he starts typing away at a computer. What do you want to do?
Well, I am going to want to kind of poke around the office. So I'm going to need to get out of my hidey hole and see about moving around.
Okay. You had a fantastic success earlier. I still want another check here because situation has changed, but I'm going to make it easier because you had a fantastic success before. So it's going to be agility again. And let me check my quick reference here. Challenging is 10 plus rank, so that's 12.
All right, and I'm going to call it now that I will take an edge just in case I need it. Which I did. All right. That is a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Missed it by 1, even with a reroll.
Okay.
Can I spend a karma?
Can you spend karma after the fact? That is a good question. I feel like you might be able to. Action check. I don't actually know where the rules are for it. Aaron,
Page
you're
19.
looking it up for me.
Yeah, yep.
I don't actually have the book to know the page, but we're going to cut from there anyways for dramatic tension.
After a character makes an action check, they can spend a point of karma to gain an edge on the check. This allows them to re-roll one of their dice.
Yep.
Are you going to spend it?
Yes, I am. That'll put me down to 0 karma. But this feels important to not get caught in this office. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I went from a 2 to a 3, which is exactly what I needed to hit a 12. So, that was an adventure.
Perfect. All right. So Bijou begins starting to slide out of that holster ever so quietly, ever so softly. Let's cut to the three of you. You are all in the dorms right now. You still have Santos to help you. You still have Dust to help you, Hellion, and Prodigy. What all are you doing? What is your plan here?
Well, once he leaves the office, in theory, Bijou can hopefully get us in, or Dust can join her and they can both work towards it. And then we can get Prodigy on a computer. And I'm gonna check for fake walls behind those filing cabinets. I'm suspicious of them.
Okay. Jericho, Stranglehold, do you have any other ideas? Anything you want to be doing in the meantime here?
No, not until we have more. Not until we have more intel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bijou, you slip out of the holster. You can fly, right? Or no, you just took speed.
Yeah, no, I cannot fly. I have speed run.
Yeah. So you gracefully fall from the holster to the chair, to the floor below. You are like the size of an action figure here, just like 6 or 7 inches tall. And you are now Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in this office. What are you doing?
That I am. So I want to... So I think what she would want to do is kind of walk the baseboards, kind of along the lines of what Ashfall was thinking. So kind of looking for kind of breaks in the baseboards where this is not a wall as it appears to be, but there might be some kind of other entrance or exit or something like that. And kind of assuming that like going behind him to kind of baseboard and then going around the room that way, she would be kind of least likely to be kind of caught because she's not just kind of floating around the carpet in the middle.
Okay. I'm not going to require a check from this. I'm going to tell you that as you go around, the baseboards seem solid. You don't see any sort of creases or any sort of divisions between them where like a door could open up. If there is something behind these walls, it looks as if it was built in front of, like it's fully plastered in front of, the construction is sealed.
Okay. As I'm doing that, can I see like what kind of furniture I'm behind? So kind of getting a sense for, is it just sort of boring office filing cabinets, or is there some other type of kind of...
It really is boring, just school administrator office. There's file cabinets, a lot more file cabinets than you would think that they need, but you can tell they tend to use hard copy a lot more than digital here. He does have the computer with the desk. It's a metal desk with the brown top, like the khaki colored drawers underneath. It looks like it's 30, 40 years old. He's got just a regular rolling office chair, and that's about it.
Damn. Okay, so can she, from where she's at, kind of get behind him and see what he's typing away at?
Yeah, let's make that I think that would be agility for like climbing. I would take melee as well for like the strength.
Agility's better. I'll take that. Oh, right. That is a 10, 11, 12, 13.
13. Okay. You start climbing this office chair. You jump on the wheeled leg, then you jump on the handle that raises and lowers it. And for a second, you think maybe you're going to accidentally have enough weight that it pulls it down. But then you catch yourself. You're able to pull yourself up. You jump onto the side of the chair. You very slowly crawl to the back, and you begin climbing up the back of the chair. And just barely from the back of the chair, if you're on your tiptoes, you can see over his shoulder to see what he's typing about. And it appears as if he is drafting a schedule, a security schedule for when the Reverend Stryker arrives. He's developing a plan to make sure that all the purifiers are in the correct position, He's coordinating with Stryker's personal security as well, just to ensure that everything goes off without a hitch.
Okay. And would I be able to kind of like, is he playing music in his office? Is like any
He is one of the most boring
distraction?
people you will ever meet.
Gosh, darn it. I'm going to try to open drawers and look inside.
That'll be very difficult. These are metallic drawers. To open them while small would be difficult enough because of the weight. To do it without noise would also be extremely difficult. If you want to try, you can. But if you get caught, you're caught. He's going to know you're there.
So what about like some of the, because you said there's desk drawers, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes the drawer doesn't actually come all the way up to the top of the desk. So like if you kind of go underneath, like there's actually
Right,
a little
there's
bit
a
of
lip.
space. So like she wants to see if she can try to like sneak into the drawer.
I'm going to tell you that likely it's going to be just standard office stuff in the actual desk. If you want any sort of interesting information, it's probably going to be in a file cabinet.
So
If there's a sort of like hidden drawer or something like that, you would have to really search the desk. You want to be able to do that small.
So I want to back up a second. So we went through the big vault door and then we went into his office.
Into a lobby and then into his office. So like there's a small waiting room in front of his office.
Did I see if the other office door was also open because it was behind the locked vault door?
When you got into the lobby, you saw that there were facing forward from the vault door. There's a door in front of you, a door on your left, and a door on your right.
And we went to the
And
right.
You went to the right, correct.
So there are
were two other doors, and they were both closed. However, they did not appear to be locked, as Mr. Risman's was not locked.
Okay, so this dude is boring as shit. So I'm going to go into the other offices and see what I can find in there.
Okay, do you want to try and open the door so your friends can join you, or do you want to wait on that?
Yeah, if I can.
You already made the stealth check. You're going to be able to get out of this office, and we can say that he just barely didn't close the door all the way, likely so other people could see he was in the office with the light on in case they needed him. And you can use that space to go out, and you'll see that the security door on this side is actually pretty easy to open. It doesn't appear that there's nearly as much security because it's meant to be one way. They want to keep people out. They don't want to keep people in. So from here, it looks like just a simple doorknob is all you need to open. I'm sure it would actually be like a touch key or something like that, a little bit more electronic.
Okay. I will do that. It feels like it will probably tip him off that I'm opening the door, but I'm going to open the door.
All right. You have to go back to your full size here to be able to reach this push button. But you get there, and then the three of you from down the hall, you can hear it open up. You know that you have mere seconds before it closes again.
Jericho just teleports right into the middle of the lobby.
That makes it easy on you, yeah. Let's get an agility test from the two of you, and you can get an edge from Jericho teleporting to help you. Including you, Strangle. I'm
not sure, to be honest.
Oh, you don't want to go in?
I think it's a risk for Strangle. I have a -1 to agility. Stranglehold's a big lumbering oaf, so I could try.
You don't have to. If you don't want to, don't worry about it.
I mean, I'm not gonna have anything else to do other than play Risk with these guys, so I'll give it a roll.
We have audience.
I got a 1 on the Marvel die at least.
Nice.
If we got Hellion and Santos to start a distraction somewhere while we get into this office space, maybe Jeff will have an easier time of it. Stranglehold will have an easier time of it.
I'm cool.
I think you could absolutely... You already rolled, Jeff. What'd you get?
Yeah, no, I'm cool. With the edge, I passed. I did not pass initially. Okay. I got in total, hang on, 12, 16, 15.
15 with a fantastic success, right?
With a fantastic success, yeah.
Ashfall, what'd you get?
I got another 18. Please believe me.
Sure.
Don't we have a command where she
sure.
cheats at X-Men? Can someone put Kipser in the chat there?
Hey, it's a 6, a 5, and a 4 plus 3. It's an 18 again.
Oh, sure,
right?
sure.
I
Whatever you
promise.
say,
I
whatever you
don't.
say.
These dice don't just roll the same high numbers. It is an 18.
Jericho bamps into the hall, into the office. Ashfall, you
We're
move
also
as quick.
pulling Prodigy in, so he needs to roll as well.
We're gonna say that he goes with your checks. I don't like rolling too much. So you get into the lobby very quickly, Ashfall. Stranglehold, how is this fantastic success helping you all as you start like stretching your way in?
I think that whatever Surge did to cause that little blip, it continues, and that it's not like a constant everything's out, but there's like occasional glitches here and there that could just like dovetail at the right time for us later, like when it kind of comes through. So like we can see like the power flickering or something like that every now and then, something like that.
And you first notice that this is still happening and still continuing as you're stretching, trying to get in as quickly as possible. And for a moment, it seems like you may not make it, but then there's a surge and the door freezes for just a split second. And you're able to pull the rest of yourself in, and then it shuts. And you see that there's still surges happening occasionally. The four of you are now in this lobby. There are two other doors that are closed and one door that is ever so slightly open. If you're loud, if you make any noise, you will be heard. The vault door makes a little bit of noise, but it's not enough to really be suspicious. It seems that Mr. Risman hasn't gotten up or anything. What's your plan here?
Get into one of these unoccupied offices, right?
Yep. Divide and conquer. There's two, so two of us can go in the middle one, and two of us can go in the left one.
Did he do anything interesting while you were following him? Like sings while he poops or something?
And I'm assuming we're like whispering because we're in this same area. And I'm like, no, he's so boring.
Oh, man.
He doesn't put on any music. He doesn't like sing to himself or whistle. He just writes out security schedules.
Jericho's just going to keep his eyes on Reichman's office. And if he gets the indication that he's moving in there or getting up, he's just going to try to spatially lock him down.
Give me a vigilance. You can get an edge because he doesn't know you're there.
Good roll. Good roll. 6 to 6 to 5, 12, 17, 19.
19. With your knowledge of Mr. Risman, with your Weapon X training, sneaking into secure areas, with your actual abilities to sort of sense what's happening, like you have some sort of spatial sense. You feel like you're going to know the second that he starts getting up and alert. And you feel like you could even walk around a bit and still keep an eye on him. As long as there's a door open, it's not a huge lobby. You'll be able to know if something happens, if something changes. Ashfall and Bijou, you said you're going in one door, and then Stranglehold and Wraith are going in another?
Yeah, that works. Well, Prodigy, he'll come with us because we're not the bright ones.
So Prodigy and Hellion are with you?
I'm a college student.
Hellion?
We drag
No.
Just Prodigy.
Just Prodigy.
Okay.
Yeah, just Prodigy.
Blue, we're going Wraith Stranglehold. Red, we're going Ashfall Bijou. And it's blue. All right, so Wraith, Stranglehold, and Prodigy. You're going in the first door on the left, we'll say. And this is very different than the lobby that you have left. You open up the door, and where you were in just standard school administrator lobby, the old ugly carpet, the plain white walls, a few fake plants, and then like some picture that looks like it was hanging in a garage for years before someone finally took it out and put it on the wall. What you walk into is a very high-tech security room. You see that there's a wall of screens with cameras, and not just cameras of this school. There are cameras of other facilities as well. You don't recognize these other facilities. You can see that there are purifiers walking through hallways and things like that. There is another computer here as well. It doesn't appear to be like Windows operating system. It's some sort of very specific secure operating system. And there is another door, steel doors that appear to be elevator doors. Prodigy immediately goes up and starts messing with the computer. I'm not around anyone that knows the operating system right now. Maybe I should go hang out by Risman real quick and come back.
Yeah, go over there and get close enough to pick up his skills.
He heads back into the lobby just to hang out by the door for a moment.
What else do we see in the security office? I mean, is there any kind of secured files, a safe? Is there any kind of
I think it would be safe to say there's a safe. There's no file cabinets or anything like that here. It appears to be entirely digital. You see the walls of screens and then the computer as well. This is probably the smallest room. It's smaller than the lobby. It's smaller than Risman's office. It's just enough for the safe, the desk, the cameras, and then the doors for the elevator.
The elevator, does it look like it has the same sort of entry protocols that the exterior hallway had to get into this whole office area, or does it look like an elevator?
It looks like it has similar protocols, but not as robust.
Okay, so like
it has the biometric, but it doesn't have like the eye scanner. Whether it has the same sort of telepath scanner, you don't even know what it is. Just some other scanner that ensures you, maybe it reads brainwaves or something like that, for all you know. It appears to just have the biometrics, the hand.
Does it look like there's any nearby panel for sort of utility access or anything like that?
I think there would be some sort of utility access for sure. It wouldn't be like full blown, like this is where all the breakers are for the entire school. But there would be some controls.
Okay. Maybe we can try to figure out how to get the elevator open. I mean, an elevator secured within another secure space, like this has to go somewhere important. We're looking for like a serum or something. Like,
yeah, you're right, Stranglehold. You're absolutely right. We either got to figure out how to get into this elevator through this panel here, or maybe, yeah. Let's see. Pop the panel. Let's see what we can figure out.
Okay. He'll turn his fingers into like a really, really thin flathead and then just kind of pull it off quietly. So quietly. He's taking everything off quietly. He's even like when he sets it down onto the ground, making sure like some of his skin has melded into a nice little cushy area, so nothing makes sound.
But were you wearing rubber gloves? Because otherwise you're going to be shocked.
I mean, you could shock me if you want. It's not really.
I can take it.
I got like 500 hit points. Like,
you take the panel off extremely carefully. You don't make a sound, and there is a mess of wires behind here that appear to have some sort of controls for both the cameras, the computers, and the elevator.
I mean, I could just start tinkering, or we can use this as like a last resort. Or do you know anything about this?
I don't know anything about this, man. We're way outside of my comfort zone. Let's wait till he gets back, till Prodigy gets back, and this is his bailiwick.
Sitting down at the computer, and you can tell he's not even thinking. He's just doing muscle memory here. He doesn't actually know what password he's typing in. He just feels the movement he's supposed to be making with his fingers. He starts tapping away at the keyboard, and the computer lights up, and you have access. It's a very simple screen that you're looking at. It doesn't have any sort of visuals. You're not moving a mouse. It's just a list of text. You're using your arrows, the enter key, and you're typing in commands. And he feels pretty confident around the system. You can tell that there is a list of all sorts of files and protocols. This is the high-tech security stuff. And it's not just the school. It applies to Purifier security all over in all of their facilities.
So we need information on these ankle bracelets, the serum to reverse or kill these nano sentinels, and their temporal, whatever kind of temporal mechanics that they're using to travel through time. We need info on that technology or where we can get access to it.
Okay. Which one of those do you want him to start searching for first?
The nano sentinel
Okay.
reversal serum.
And he starts furiously typing in commands, scrolling through all sorts of databases and directories. It's going to take a couple moments. Let's cut to Ashfall and Bijou as you go in the other room. You open up this office door, and you find a much nicer office. It's got hardwood furniture. It's got shelves in the back with all sorts of books lined up. These books tend to be religious texts, like theologians discussing different books of the Bible, things like that. There are some file cabinets as well, but not as many as in Mr. Risman's office. And there is a computer in the on a hardwood desk. The screen is on right now. It looks like it's waiting for a password. The login is already there. It's c.sinclair.
Try the password God rules with a Z in the end.
Oh, or we can just wait our turn and we can get Prodigy in here and no one will know that we tried to do it wrong.
All right. Let's look what he has in hardcover out here. Maybe there's something behind some of these bookshelves or cabinets or filing, anything.
I'll take logic or vigilance from both of you here.
Logic for me.
Vigilance and logic are the same for me. So. Ooh, ouch.
11.
I got 10.
10. This room is very simple, so it didn't require much. You start going through, you start pulling off books. Most of these books are very boring. You start going through the file cabinets. A lot of it is like curriculum and school plans, things like that. You go through the files, again, boring. He's got like sermons. He's got a Bible in his desk. And you just start moving things around. And as you like accidentally shift the keyboard, you feel the scratch of paper on wood. You flip the keyboard up and there is a sticky note on there.
Password.
You can't
That
remember
says
his own
John
password.
3:16. You type in John 3:16 and the computer lights up.
This seems incredibly unsecure.
Well, there was that big door back there, so there really shouldn't be many people. He's just got to trust those.
All right, well, let's fleece him for
What's on there?
everything he has.
What do you see?
You have access to his personal email here. You start going through it. A lot of the most recent things are security alerts about the four of you. He's got files on the four of you that seem fairly robust. It includes a lot of your history and things that you don't even think Xavier would have known about you. There's quite a bit of information that's extremely detailed. There's also a lot of information about the upcoming meeting with Stryker. Apparently, this is a huge deal. Having Stryker come to the facility. It only happens once or twice a year, and Stryker is a huge political figure, so they need to make sure there's lots of security, which makes your disappearance all the more concerning. Like, it's a big deal that you have disappeared in the days before Stryker's here, because it makes Reverend Sinclair look extremely bad. He's the one who's supposed to be managing the school, making sure that doesn't happen. Is there anything specific you guys are looking for in his email?
Not necessarily, but I am going to take that email address and then open a second tab and sign him up for as many spam things as I possibly can.
All right, you've started all the porn accounts. You're signing him up for the subscriptions. All the adult content.
All the really annoying IRS fake spam calls. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Mormon evangelists are going to be coming after him, everything.
What I would like to look for is to see if there's a like protocol. Like I want to look in his like inbox organization and see if he's got like a subfolder that's like protocol, because I imagine there's probably like not things that have been made here, but things that have kind of like come down from others that he may have kind of organized. So I'm looking for
just searching for the key commands. He probably does have a folder, like you said. You'll see that most of these emails are from M. Risman, Matthew Risman, and it seems that Reverend Sinclair just drags them to that folder and ignores them. Some of them aren't even open, but there is a whole list of emails there that you can start rifling through, reading, seeing which ones seem the most important. When it comes to dealing with security later on, you can take an edge for getting that.
Okay. And I'm also looking to see if there's anything here around sort of, is there a written protocol for the serum? Like any of the kinds of things that we're like trying to figure out, like how to deactivate the nanobots, like where the serum would be, protocols for like where it's stored and that stuff.
If he has a little piece of paper under his keyboard, we should also look for a folder called passwords.
You start going through the email looking for things specifically about a cure or a serum. Nothing really pops up, but then you remember the keyword elixir and you search for that. And there's a few things that pop up. It's always vague references. He talks about the security of Elixir being solid, that it is contained in the vault below. You also see a word called Cerebro come up in relation with Elixir. Hey, Rebel Pilot, thanks for the raid.
So the vault that is a floor below where we are is where the elixir is held.
It doesn't specifically say that, but it seems like Cerebro is where the elixir is being contained, yes.
And so Bijou just
smiling,
kind of like gets excited a bit and sort of like poking Ashfall a little bit and just kind of pointing to the email, like, we found it.
Oh, yes. This elixir, huh? All right. Definitely high security around it.
And can I find anything that has to do with, because we're still trying to figure out what that third beat in the security thing is, if we need that again, like what's the third step of that?
Yeah, actually, you would be able to find some references to it, probably from Matthew Risman when it was installed. There is some sort of, it's not telepathic, it's not superpower, it's some sort of brainwave scanner. There's a specific type of electricity that the brain gives off, and there's a very highly tuned scanner that detects that. Even a shapeshifter cannot fake that. So between the biometrics of the hand, of the eye, and the brainwave, it's as high security as this room can possibly be.
Okay. Good to know.
But now that you know that, there might be a way to replicate it because you know what to do.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's cut back to Wraith in Stranglehold here. Prodigy is going through this computer as quickly as possible. Elixir is coming up like crazy here. The thing about this is where you would expect to see formulas and things like that, chemical compounds. Instead, you get linked to a live feed of biometrics. You see like the heartbeat, you see blood pressure, you see all of those things, like even a scan of brainwaves.
So it's a mutant that they've got trapped down there is creating this. Code name
like
Elixir.
I was gonna ask, like, is it like pronoun or not proper noun? I mean, like elixir, or is it like lowercase elixir? But that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So if we free this elixir, they may be able to neutralize this in everyone.
Maybe
particularly if they're an omega level mutant.
And if they're doing this like against their will or something, right? Yeah. They'd be happy for us to save them, right?
I think so.
Okay.
What else did you find about the anklets?
I'm still working on that. Hold up real quick. And he's typing, and then he hits enter. And behind you, you hear the elevator doors pop open.
Oh, right on, dude. Righteous. Wait, you did that, right? And he looks back to make sure there's not someone coming out.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, yeah. Wait, are there cameras inside?
He starts looking through all the feeds. He starts going through the directory, seeing if there's any more cameras. There are no cameras that appear to be on an Elixir or any sort of label like that. You don't see any cameras that seem to be like on a prison cell or anything either.
Stranglehold will go hold the elevator and wait for other folks going down.
I think it's safe to say that Ashfall and Bijou would be able to join you as well, and you can relay your information between you all.
Keep working on the computer. Find a way to get these anklets off and find out how they travel through time. We'll be back as soon as we can.
I'm on it. You all enter into the elevator. Sorry, Ashfall, you had something else?
Log out of the computer. Put everything back.
Just destroy it? No? Okay, we'll be good.
No. Don't let them know.
All right.
Log out, put the sticky note back where it was. The four of you enter this elevator and you begin a long descent. And it almost feels slower than when you actually climbed down the elevator shaft before. Whether you're going further or whether it's just a slow elevator, you can't really tell until your ears start to pop from the pressure differential. The elevator opens and there is a very short hallway in front of you. Again, this is very similar to the other X-Men tunnels where it's just square metal panels, ceiling, walls, and floor. And then a pair of double doors in front of you that still have the X engraved on them, the design. And it appears that there's no more security here. You walk forward, you open those doors, and they split four ways with the design of the X. And you find yourself in Cerebro. This massive room. It's a sphere shape with these curved metal panels. It's got to be 3-4 stories up. If you have seen Cerebro before, this is a much bigger version than what you saw before. It appears that it was upgraded at some point in between. There is a long walkway, a catwalk of sorts, that leads to a circular platform. And where there used to be a series of control panels where a telepath could hook up, instead you see a hospital bed. And there is IV next to it with the vitals monitor as well. And on this bed, you see a teenager with the IV hooked up to them and pure gold skin. I've got a picture here I can show you. And pure gold hair, medium length. Other than the color of his skin and hair, he looks to be a completely normal person. But right now he is comatose. And this is where we're going to end the session. With you finding the elixir.
Very nice. I like his hoodie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the picture that Kipser liked earlier.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Wow. What are the chances of that? Wow.
What are the chances? I saw Kipser get a little excited when I said elixir the first time.
Oh, yeah. He's powerful.
Oh, yeah.
He is so very powerful.
So a little bit of my background with Marvel X-Men is this is very much inspired by the new X-Men, which was one of my favorite comic series. It came out around 2006 or so, which is why I said it there. And that's why a lot of these NPCs, that's where they came from. Elixir was one of them. He wasn't nearly as powerful back then, but he had the potential. So I'm kind of leading into where he became in the X-Men canon, but obviously going very differently. Let's do some shout outs. Aaron, what do we got going on with Garblag?
So Garblag is on holiday this week, but if you come back next week on Halloween, Millie will be back at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the pilot's chair running some Coriolis. Then on November 1st, you'll actually find me in the Game Master's chair. I will be doing Session 0 character creation for more Marvel Multiverse RPG. We'll find a group of British superheroes in 1943 at the end of the Italian campaign on a mission to free Union Jack and deal with the stories of a time traveler who's popped up there who says he can help the Nazis. Goes by the name of Trevor Fitzroy. And that's going to lead into the Cataclysm of Kang campaign that I'll be running there. And then on Thursday, an even more special treat, Garblag Pete himself will be starting his campaign using his own game, his Heroic Deeds. It's old school adventures with modern mechanics. And he's going to be running through the Red Hand of Doom, the classic Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
I'm excited to see your take on Marvel. Knowing you, it's going to be action-packed with action amped up to 11.
Tune in and find out. Should be a good time.
Jeff, what do we got going on here?
Yeah, buddy. Thursday is the next game. We got Werewolf the Apocalypse as we are continuing that campaign. See everyone here, but Steven, as we've already claimed, Steven doesn't want to play with us. But we are getting one of our Geru back, I believe. So we just started the new story last week, so it's a good time to hop in. Interesting shenanigans at a Burger King. Very, very interesting shenanigans last time. I think we are actually off on Delta Green this week because we are down 2 players. So we're going to skip. It sucks because we had such a huge cliffhanger last time, but it doesn't feel right to keep going. And I think we're also down on Saturday still. We are going to be picking back up our Saturday game the following week. Next Monday, we should be back to Monster of the Week as well. So a little bit of a kind of a break transition time with our Saturday game. We are eventually going to move into a Call of Cthulhu campaign, but we're going to do a handful of like smaller things in November before we start that up coming in December. Otherwise, check out the YouTube channel. Adventures in Lollygagging. We got all sorts of other games over there, including other games we're running right now. Things like Fragged Empire, for instance, which I ran last night, and Aaron will be starting up something new soon too. Warhammer 40K, not this Friday, but the following Friday.
Yep, we'll be starting a Wrath and Glory, doing some character creation, and then jumping into the Litanies of the Lost campaign that they put out. So that should be a lot of fun.
Which essentially we invited Steven to as well.
Blew me off. He said no. He was like,
man.
He's like, you don't raid, Aaron. You're Jeff is up here and you're down here, and
I know, so rude.
I was just talking you up, Aaron. I was just talking you up.
This would have been a Delta Green Steven week.
It's so funny. Because Steven sends me a message. He's like, I see all these games you guys are doing, and it makes me sad that I'm not in any of them. I'm like, you've literally been invited to every single one and said no to like all of them. So you've really got only yourself to blame.
It's not my fault.
It really is. Get a hold of your life, Steven.
There you have a life.
One final note, we
man.
will not be playing X-Men next Tuesday for Halloween. Jeff, I don't know if you're planning on a one-shot or anything, but I will not be DMing, and we're down a couple people. So we will be picking up the week after that.
Sounds
the first
good.
Tuesday of November.
I don't know if I'm planning to do anything either. We'll figure that out. We'll see.
Steven's
totally
like,
forgot about
you're going to put me on the spot. I'm going to put you on the spot. Take that.
Yeah. I think that's everything. I think that's all we got going on. So thank you to everyone who hung out tonight. Thank you to the raid, the Rebel Pilot, and thank you for the bits, Griffin, and some of the subs earlier on. We're going to go ahead and raid Happy Jack's RPG. So go ahead and follow the raid when it pops up. Have a great rest of your night. Come back on Thursday. Watch us play some Werewolf. See ya.
Good night.
Bye.